Hi, Mike. How are you? Welcome to the El Conector AV.
Yeah, Juan, I'm good under the circumstances, but first of all, thank you for inviting me, and great to be working with Equipson and yourself. We're looking forward to Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah. Integrated Systems Europe. Uh, for those who still didn't see an event like this, tell us how to you define the event and which business sectors are involved.
Okay. ISE started back in 2004 to cover both residential and commercial AV solutions and services. Um, the exhibitors are a mixture of companies providing projection, audio, digital signage, residential solutions, everything that covers AV. And as you know, AV touches everything nowadays. So, we're really, really pleased to be able to bring the manufacturers who make the products and those companies who put the solutions together to actually show you what's possible. So, we cover almost everything from what you would see in a normal day-to-day life if you were an end customer of AV solutions, whether it's a hotel using conference facilities, whether it's a shopping center with digital signage solutions, or a store that has LED walls that are showing the latest fashions or latest products they're selling. It's really everything. And I think that it's nice to be, I'm always fascinated by this business. Wherever I go, I say, yeah, that's one of our customers, or this is something that you will see at ISE. It's almost everything you see that you can see or hear, and the solutions that bring that for the end user to be able to understand and present, or to understand what's being presented.
Well, and many Spanish people maybe still doesn't know that ISC Borns as a joint venture between Avixa and Cydia. Can you explain us more or less with more detail about this?
Yeah, absolutely. What happened is back in 2000, Avixa, or it's under its predecessor name of Infocom International, ran a show in Europe purely for the commercial part of the AV business. They did that as a joint venture with the Mesa Cologne, with their Photokina exhibition. And I think the idea in those days was that photography and AV were very similar. That you think of the days when companies like Kodak and Polaroid were very big, because if you were presenting slideshows, those are the important customers. The business changed, and obviously, when you had a show which was focused on photographers as the business, as the core business attendees, it didn't really mix with what was being presented by those companies who are out of our sector. So a decision was made to try and launch that show as a standalone event. Avixa looked at that time to actually say, well, where would the competition be in the future? And because they could see residential and commercial AV meeting at some point, it was decided to talk to Cydia and one other organization that was involved at the time, NSCA, who were very much on the audio side. So a joint venture was made to launch a new show in Europe. They approached me to actually put that into place. And NSCA stepped out of this partnership some years back, but Cydia has remained involved. So we cover everything that covers both the residential AV sector and the commercial AV sector, and everything in between.
From which year is celebrating ISE?
The first show, we formed the company in 2003, and the first show was run in Geneva in 2004. Geneva was a great place to start, but unfortunately, it's in Europe, but it's not. And that caused a lot of issues for many of our exhibitors who were bringing in lots of components for which they had to bring in, do customs for. So we looked for a venue that was in the EU. And in 2005, we moved the show to Amsterdam. We couldn't get a tenancy in 2006, so we moved it to Brussels. But we were able to move back to Amsterdam in 2007, which until last year has been our home.
And how has been ISE growing since the beginning until today?
The first show was approximately 120 exhibitors, over 2,800 square meters of space, and 3,500 attendees. 2019, we saw more than 80,000 attendees and 57,000 net square meters of space from 1,400 exhibitors. So you see, the exhibitor growth being 100-fold, the space 20-fold, and the number of attendees just exploded. So it's grown and grown. It is a business-to-business show. So the attendees who come are there for business purposes. They're not consumers. But we do separate them in that you see the channel, those people who are buying products and services to resell to end customers, as well as the end customers now. So those, the companies who are using AV solutions and services.
Yeah, I remember has been exhibiting since 2010, I think, and well, every year was a big change, no? So it's
Yeah.
I
Well,
cannot
we've had
imagine in the
phenomenal
beginning.
growth. Yeah, we've had phenomenal growth, and it was an advantage. It was a challenge. It was something that helped us, but it also caused the issue that we then ran out of space in our last home, which was Amsterdam. We were the venue was no longer large enough, and we had to use temporary structures in addition. And then we were starting to run out of hotel capacity as well.
Well, now is going to take place in Barcelona from this year. So, for how many years ISE is planned to stay in Barcelona?
Well, we've made this view long term. Obviously, we've signed a 3-year contract with Fiera. We need to assess and see that Barcelona works for us. But, we came to Barcelona because we believe it will work, and we are looking for a long-term solution to stay in Barcelona. We believe the plans that Fiera has in terms of their own development and growth will be able to accommodate us in the future. So, I don't know, but it could be forever.
Okay, and yes, well, you tell us part of the reasons why you moved to Barcelona, what ISE moved to Barcelona, but why Barcelona?
We Amsterdam was great for the show. It helped us grow. It helped us get to where we were, and it's a city with charisma. It's something special, and we needed to. I mean, first, the reason for moving was we'd outgrown that home. But we needed to find something that could be as good or better. And the first thing we did was to actually look at venues that would be large enough to accommodate the position we were in, but also allow us to grow in the future. So we wouldn't be continuously nomads and moving from city to city to city. So, we did our own research to find the venues across Europe that could accommodate us and accommodate our growth. We then looked to see about the hotel capacities in those cities. And then we also looked to see the travel, can people get there? And this whittled down the list of very few cities. And, based on that, we then looked at other characteristics like entertainment, like the hospitality, the cost for our exhibitors and attendees to be there. And, Barcelona came out tops in many of those positions. And this was one of the reasons to actually come to Barcelona. It was one of the more popular places for both our exhibitors and attendees as a place to move.
Okay, and before the pandemic, ISC metrics were, as you said, were awesome.
Yeah.
Which were the expectations of the first Barcelona ISC 2021 before the big lockdown? What do you expect after the last ISC finished, and we don't know nothing about the pandemic? What was the expectations of the first show in Barcelona?
So without the pandemic, we would have anticipated substantial growth, both in terms of number of exhibitors, the amount of space, and we would hope also with attendees. In the past, only 3% of our attendance came from the local Spanish or Iberian market. So, whilst we had something like 18% from the Benelux, we will see a switch there. We will lose some people from Benelux, but we'll see many, many more people coming from the region of Southern Europe and Spain in particular. In the past, only 3% of our attendees came from Spain or Portugal. What is general is that you find with most trade shows, quite a large amount of the attendance comes from the local region. So you can imagine an integrator who was based in the Netherlands would probably say, okay, my guys can jump in a car and go to the show. Whereas that same integrator may not take his whole team. He may come with just his senior management instead to Barcelona because of the cost implications. But on the other hand, where in Spain, those same integrators who came with just their senior management now have the opportunity to bring their whole team at a much less cost. So we anticipate a substantial growth from the channel, but more so also from the end user community, those people who buy and use AV solutions. And as a result, we would anticipate a much, much larger attendance coming in.
Well, such a big event that we're going to start at February 2021, and just after ISE 2020, when the lockdown at Europe came, then all what we have been happening during the last 2020, I cannot imagine how hard has been to manage decisions and overall when you announced to delay the event in June, right?
Yeah, and that was a very hard decision for us, but a necessary decision. The situation of the pandemic meant that we weren't in a position in February to do a safe show for both our attendees and our exhibitors. We felt that we would be in a position to do so in June. The situation has been slow to recover. And the result has been that there was a lot of nervousness from both exhibitors and attendees to actually, would they be able to travel to Spain and would the customers want to travel there? So, we've had to readjust and create something new for those people who do want to be there and show the industry that we can come together. There is a possibility to meet. Now we're doing the digital event as well. So those people who can't travel or won't travel still have the opportunity to experience part of what ISE is. Obviously, the key thing of networking and meeting face-to-face with people will be missing for those who are taking part not only in the digital part of the show, but those people who are actually coming to Barcelona, coming to Fiera, will actually have the chance to meet and interact.
And now the format of this special edition of 2021 changes. So this 2021 edition will be remembered not only for the Barcelona debut, but also because the format will be much different than the rest. Because, well, ISE 2022, I'm sure that everything will back to normal, no? But please tell us what the visitors will find in this special edition of ISE 2021.
So again, you're going to see far fewer companies. But there will be an experience here. You will be able to meet customers. You'll be able to meet exhibitors who are showing solutions and services. So it'll be just a small part of what ISE really is. Now, something very good here that's happening is that a group of Spanish integrators are coming together to show an AV experience. So to actually create solutions and show end user customers what this industry can do, what sort of solutions are available and how they will look, and explain and show to them in a real environment. We're in a business that is all about seeing and hearing and touching. And it's very hard to experience that digitally, just between here and a screen. You can't understand what the audio effect is. If your screen is not 8K or 4K, how can you experience that level of visual quality? So you need to see it in person, and what we're showing here are some ideas and solutions that you can see in person as a taste of what ISE will be in the future.
Well, but you talk about the AV experience zone, which is it was another question, so we already go on that. So about the proposed format, You said that it will be a presence, it will be a presential edition also, it will be some digital, but maybe we have to give a little more light on it, no? Because I have received many questions about the format. There is an important face-to-face part, as you said, but in addition to the exhibitors who will be there, what face-to-face events a part of the AV experience will be? I think there is a main stage where you will take part some events, right?
So there will be a main stage where we're presenting live events, and there'll be a mixture of some in English and some in Spanish. So, you know, if you don't feel confident and comfortable about listening to presentations in English, there will be working with our partners. We'll get the opportunity to hear presentations on thought leadership, on new things which are coming, on what's going on in the industry on that main stage. In between, some of the digital presentations that we have that are going on online will also be presented on that stage. You will see a studio that's being created for ISE, which is a virtual studio that it's a hybrid studio. You know, it's the same thing you will see on stage and in person and digitally, with a mixture of presenters and guests appearing virtually or real. On that stage there, and that'll be going on over both days of the event. Additionally to that, there'll be a lot of networking opportunities, and we're creating areas so that we can, you know, if it's necessary to work with social distancing, then we've created areas where people can actually go together and meet and discuss and talk with exhibitors or with each other throughout that time. The exhibitors, there are companies who will be there who will actually be presenting. There will be some product launches, we know. So new things to see, but the main part of it will be the networking opportunity, the chance to come back together, to meet, to experience new things, but mostly to reconnect and learn new things as well.
And about the online part, you said it will be a live event, a live virtual event, in terms of that the people has to stay there at a time, at a date, or they can replay that events in the ISE website. How will it be? What is all about?
So the event will be live, and afterwards we will keep that online so people can go back and replay it as well. But obviously the experience and the advantage is to actually see those events live, participate in the chat opportunities. So if you're not in person in Barcelona and you still want to put questions or communicate with people there, the live being there live gives you that opportunity as well.
And well, let's talk about 2022 in the next event. Do you think that virtual and hybrid events at that time, a post-COVID era where the COVID is solved, the COVID issue, it makes sense to have virtual and hybrid events, or it will be so much important again, the presential events, and will be no more virtual, like we are all day looking in a small screen in our desk?
So first of all, I mean, there are two elements here. In-person events cannot be replaced 100% on a virtual platform. And our social and personal needs mean that we want to meet and in person and connect with people. But despite that, there are people who, for whatever reasons, may not be able to be at the event in 2022 in person. Whether it's the fact that the company is not in a position to fly everybody because they have to do work as well, or whatever reasons. So we will be doing a digital part of the show as well, maybe it's a live transmission of what we have on our stages. Some of it will be pre-recorded, but we will have digital parts of our event in 2022 to reach those people who can't or are not able to be in Barcelona.
Well, one of the things I like more from ISE when in the past editions was that there was so much material from different publications in the show, so I can review all the news because I was in the booth and I cannot have make a workaround. And after the show, there is so much material about all the things that happen in the show. So I think this is another good opportunity to have a good recording of the show. For example, this year, which is small, and then you can get a big idea of what is happening.
That is one part of it. The other part of it is that ISC normally is so large anyway, that nobody has the energy or time, even in 4 days, to get around the whole show. So there will be things as a normal visitor you may miss, and this is a good opportunity to try and catch up with some of those things.
Yeah, I remember the discussions between exhibitors we have, if must be a 3 or 4 day, because some people like the 3 day, some people complain that 3 days is not enough to visit all the show, and now we have the normal 4 day. Well, when the things coming back to normal again.
Yeah.
How do you see the sector after more than a year of pandemic?
It's different. There are some parts of the sector have suffered tremendously. The live events business, of which we are part, has suffered phenomenally. I think in Barcelona, you're only just seeing concerts in Spain coming back on. And these are pioneers who are trying to show there are ways to actually still do this. But across the whole world, the live events industry has suffered, and as a result, our industry, exhibitors who are in the rental business have seen zero business. The companies who sell to them have seen reduced business. So we have suffered. But there are other parts of the industry, like collaboration, and we're all using Zoom or Teams or Blue Jeans, whichever collaboration platforms there are, as a new way to do business. That will remain. Yes, a lot of us are fed up with actually just doing this through a screen. We want to get back to meeting in person. So, that's something that won't die. But, result is we've seen parts of the business who have gained from this, and parts of it that have actually suffered. I think across the whole world, if we look at some sectors of industry, it's amazing. If you look at home improvement business, it's boomed because people aren't going anywhere. So they're looking at the four walls that they've been happy with, but they're seeing it more intensely because they're there every day, all day. And suddenly people are redecorating or spending money on home furnishing to improve that part of their lives in this time. So those parts of the industry have boomed. In the same way, I don't know how many people replaced basic equipment for their computers to be able to do Zoom conferences more effectively. I can remember I had a very old screen here back in February last year. And by April, because I was sitting in front of it all day, every day, rather than my office, I suddenly said, I need something better. And there are a whole lot of people. You could see that in April, May, many manufacturers of displays had actually sold out of most desktop displays. Logitech, you could not buy, if you went on Amazon or to the major distributors in April, most were sold out of web cameras. So there are areas that have boomed and done extremely well from this, and others which have suffered. So yes, our industry has changed, but it will come back.
I hope so. Yeah. And yeah, some business sectors has boom. Everybody that has to used to make a conference, they have some special lights on it. Or for example, I could never imagine that they have a green screen behind me, but now or in our company we made a virtual TV studio for making product presentation during the year. So yes, this changed the situation a lot. How has been you make during this last year and this year the RISE events? Mm-hmm. How has they worked this half part of the year?
Again, this was something which we had considered in the past, but we saw it as a way to keep the connection with our industry, to give our exhibitors an opportunity to still reach some of their customers. it's been very well taken up. We generally seen between 1,200 and 2,000 participants in each event. So, you know, this has been quite good. We did that in partnership with the Next Web. So we could actually, on one side, reach more people, but on the other, to actually help us bring the right sort of talent, the right sort of people in who are thought leaders and new ideas to present to our industry. So it's something which has been very successful, and we will be continuing in the future.
And this year, next June, why an AV professional should not miss this edition, this special edition of ISE?
So for this June, I would say, if you've been sitting at home for the last year, like most of us, and you want to get back and find out what are some of the things which are going on in the industry, then you need to be there. You know, we have exhibitors who will be presenting some new products. We don't have everybody, but you will see new things. More importantly, you'll be able to connect with the industry. You'll be able to see some new ideas and hear from new people of some of the solutions and how they've got through this area and where they see the business going, or what solutions and ideas can actually help business generally to move forward. So yes, it will be worthwhile. Yes, you will meet people. Yes, it makes sense.
Well, and I give you a couple of more reasons. Because this year is a small format, it's also a good opportunity, first, to have a quick networking. One of the things of the ISE roadshows, do you remember when you made the ISE
Yes.
roadshow, was that you can find all the industry in just one day and talk with all the people you need and go back. So it's very profitable in that time. So yeah. One of the things of this year, one of the advantages of ISE this year is that you can meet the important industry people in one day and go back. And the another is that we need, as you said in the beginning of the interview, no, that we need to touch or not touch, but see face-to-face people. Yeah. Everybody is desesperated to meet people again. So I think it's a good opportunity to go there in a very safe way, because there will be safety measures and there will be social distancing. So it's a good opportunity for those things, to finally meet all the people you miss in the industry, and to make it very profitable, because just one day I'm back and you are done. No? So
exactly.
Well, it's a couple of more reasons.
You're even more convincing than I am.
Well, I'm exhibiting, so I must.
No, but certainly I think, you know, what we were hearing from exhibitors and the visitors we've been talking to, everyone's is dying to get back to meeting. Everyone's dying to get back into connecting and networking. And this is an opportunity that, as you say, you know, they can go there and spend a few hours and then go back. You know, you don't need to spend 4 days or the whole 2 days to be there. If you want to participate in some of the presentations and listen, then that's an even better reason to stay longer. And these will be interesting as well.
Yeah, 1 or 2 days is what we have there. So 2 days also is a good choice for everyone that has been. Well, I used to be 10 days in ISE in the setup and then in the exhibition. So for me, it's like a very reduced way to stay there. Well, I'm exhibiting, so I know, but I want you to explain all the people, what support are you giving to those who really bet on exhibiting? This year, exhibitors and the fair itself need more than ever mutual support.
Yeah, so, you know, we are welcoming every company who wants to be part of this and working together with the Catalonia government and ACHO. There's support also for the startup companies coming in, but also for all of our traditional exhibitors in making an easy format to exhibit. We made it a shell scheme only show, so companies wouldn't have to go into great expenditure and the risk of having to plan 3-4 months in advance to build their booths, but everyone's participating on an even playing field. So, we're supporting every exhibitor. We're open for new ideas as well. So, if someone says, look, have you thought about this? We're open to all sorts of ideas to make the experience even more valuable.
Well, I'm sure, to finish the interview, I'm sure that you are thinking how to celebrate that this is over. I mean, the pandemic. So, yeah, Barcelona will have a good revival, I guess, no? So, I mean, in 2022, how do you visualize 2022? I assume.
We've already, we're already in the planning for 2022. What we've heard from our exhibitors is they want to be back. They want to be back bigger. Everybody's looking forward to be part of the ISE 2022 when everybody is there and we're not with our restrictions as we've seen so far. So, for us, it will be a big celebration when we get back to that as well. We have lots of ideas of things which we wanted to do this year, but we're not able to. And we're trying to resurrect those ideas to make ISE 2022 a real experience for everybody.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure that we will celebrate in some way when we are back in Barcelona in 2022. Yeah. So, Mike, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for staying here and explain us more or less how it's going to be. June is 1 month ahead, and I'm excited to be there and meet people again this year.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for hosting me here, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time.
Yes.
In person.
Thank you.